All righty. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for taking time out of your day to dive into some exciting new product features with us. I'm thrilled to see so many new faces in the chat. If you're new here, you're in for a treat. And for our regulars, it's always great to have you back. I really want each of you to have an awesome experience today. So let's make this fun and interactive. Things will look a bit different today. And honestly, if you love this format, please let us know at the end in the feedback survey so we can pivot based on preferences. We're here for you, so your opinion matters most. We want to do what is the most helpful for you. To start, let's touch on what exactly Product Club is. This is our monthly meetup where we gather to explore the latest and greatest from our product leaders here at Automation Anywhere. You will see my face pop up occasionally to ask some questions, but the real stars of the show are our incredible product team. Today, we've got Peter, Alexander, and Mudit, who lead the charge on document automation. And here to support me in hosting is Ollie from our community and learning team. I told him to skedaddle a few minutes ago. We'll get to know him in just a moment, but our primary focus right now is our product team. Ollie is patiently waiting in the other Zoom meeting, so more about him later. Our product club sessions are all about keeping you in the loop with our latest product innovations and giving you a chance to connect directly with the product team. So that's why we created this space. It is a space to learn, to ask questions, and to see live product demos, plus discover how to integrate these tools into your automation programs. Now, for everyone on the call today, as mentioned, this session is going to look a bit different because we're trying something new and hosting 2 different sessions at once. You are all starting here, and then dependent upon where you are in your document automation journey, you'll either stay here for the Intro to Document Automation webinar with Peter, Mudit, and myself, or once I share the link in the chat, you will go to the Beyond the Basics of Document Automation webinar. You'll click on that link, go there to a different Zoom meeting for a deeper dive with Alexander and Ollie, who's patiently waiting. Before we leave, I do have a couple of quick Pathfinder community announcements. Then we'll meet our full product team. Then you'll change Zoom locations if necessary, and we'll get started. Along the way, we will be throwing a few poll questions your way, so your engagement really is key. When those polls pop up on your screen, don't hold back. Let us know your thoughts. They are what's helping us know what to share with you today, where you're at on your journey, what you find the most interesting, and we really want to help you make the most out of this 45 minutes to an hour together. And then, as a quick reminder, these sessions will be recorded and we will post the recap in the community and sent to you via email. So just keep your eyes peeled for that. Next, I do have a couple of quick updates on my end. The biggest one right now is APA Training Camp. We kicked things off on Monday. This is a 4-week virtual training camp, and both the automation leader and developer tracks are seeing a lot of engagement, which makes us happy, and folks seem to be learning a lot, which makes them happy. If you haven't signed up yet, we do have those 2 tracks, automation leader and the developer, so you can register for that. I'm going to drop the link in the chat just in case you're not registered yet. Go here and register. We would love to see you there. By the end of this training camp, automation leaders will have a clear action plan to evolve their RPA program into a successful APA program, and developers will be ready to build agentic solutions immediately. As one of our community members said, APA isn't the future, it's the now, and that couldn't be more true. So if you're not diving headfirst into this free asynchronous training program, you definitely should. Click the link to register. Also coming up very soon, the 13th and 14th of May, is Imagine in Orlando. So grab those mouse ears and register for the event. I'm throwing this link in here. I can't imagine going to Orlando. I can't imagine going to Orlando without mouse ears. So yeah, hopefully we'll see you there. All right. Enough about that. Let's get to know our product team. Starting with Peter. Peter, hello. Thanks so much for joining us today. Peter, where are you logging in from?
I'm just outside San Francisco today.
Awesome. And what is your role here at Automation Anywhere?
I lead all of our AI products, so our APA, our document automation, process discovery, and a few other things in our portfolio.
That is so cool. And what do you love most about that?
Well, it's an exciting space. There's just so much happening across everything AI these days. So hard not to be motivated and have a great time working on this technology.
Yeah, I bet. Okay, and then final question. You're headed to Imagine in Orlando, and you need to purchase your own pair of those Mickey Mouse ears that everyone wears. What theme are your ears?
I guess I don't really know all the options, but a recent event that's top of mind is St. Patrick's Day, so maybe I'll pick something Shamrock related if they
Oh,
have that theme of Mickey Mouse ears.
yeah. Okay, cool. Mudit, on to you. Where are you joining in from?
Hey, so very excited to be here, Lou. I'm actually joining from India. I'm in Chandigarh right now, usually based out of Bangalore. Uh, yeah, that's where I'm from, and really looking forward to our discussion today.
Great. And what's your role here at Automation Anywhere?
I'm owning document automation and process discovery. I contribute in those areas and
Oh,
work with Peter on new technologies, infusing them in document automation, including generative AI. So yeah, it's a super exciting time and super exciting product that we've got to present today.
what's your big motivation? Like, what do you love most about being in that role and working with those products?
I think the fact that every day things keep coming up, especially with the generative AI and AI nowadays, right? I mean, just keeps us on the toes and looking to explore new use cases and how they can benefit from the changes in technology. That's something that's really motivating and it's super exciting.
Yeah, I bet your Monday this week was way different from your Monday like 6 months ago.
Yeah, I would say that, yeah.
Okay, and finally for you, you're purchasing Mickey Mouse ears for Orlando. What theme are you going with?
Well, I really have no clue. I'll actually go with what Peter selected. I'm sorry, I have no clue. So if it's gonna look good on Peter, I'm assuming it's gonna look good on me as well.
Okay, that's totally fair. I think so far we're getting you guys are going to be matching at Orlando. So, all right, Alexander, over to you. Where are you logging in from?
Hello, everyone. I'm logging in from California as well, like Peter, San Jose.
Perfect. So, really early for you guys. Noted. What is your role here at Automation Anywhere?
I work with the Mudit on document automation specifically.
Okay. And what do you love most about that?
Uh, I'm responsible for AI part and really excited about that, like artificial intelligence stuff and Gen AI. And we'll talk about that in the upcoming session a lot. So I'm pretty excited about that. It's like changed our world like just a year ago.
Yeah. And then what do your Mickey Mouse ears look like?
Um, I don't know actually. I'm not a fan of Disney, but I would choose something like a crossover with a completely different theme. Like I don't know, like I play guitar and it would be something like a black leather, silver studs and like strings around that. Something like completely different from Disney theme.
Yeah, that's fair. I get that. At least it's not green. So now you're in the middle. And then Peter and Mudita are on the side. So you guys are your own band, I guess. I think mine would probably be Beauty and the Beast. I think that's what I think of when I think Disney.
Okay, great. Thanks, Lou. Thanks for the intro. Um, So we'll get started now with the intro session that Mudit and I are going to run through. I have a few slides to share with everyone to give you some context about both our platform and what the document product automation product is and what it does. And then we'll get into a demo. So Mudit's going to do a great demo. You'll be able to see how this works in real life, get some sense of how you set it up, how it integrates into your workflows. And then we'll wrap up with a few last slides, chance for questions. And certainly throughout this whole thing, if you do have questions, I think you can use the Q&A function in Zoom and just go ahead and ask those questions as they come up, and we'll get to those either during the presentation or afterwards. All right, so hopefully folks can see my screen. All right, great. So just going to jump into it here. Quick reminder that some of the things we're going to share, especially later in the presentation, are roadmap items. So make all your purchasing decisions based on what's available in the product today. So as I said, I wanted to give some context of a transformation we're seeing in the industry and in our company before we really go a lot deeper on document automation and document processing. And that shift is, as Lou mentioned with our APA training camp, this move to agentic process automation. Automation Anywhere really invented the RPA category 20 years ago, and that helped companies save a lot of money, automate a lot of mundane tasks in their business. But what we're seeing now is a real shift in terms of the possibilities of what companies can automate using agentic process automation, which is really a combination of all the automation muscle and capabilities we've built up over the last 20 years, plus now the ability to use generative AI to build agents which are adaptive, can work through problems that are more open-ended, and make a process really dynamic so that you can automate end-to-end processes. So what is agentic process automation? This is just a conceptual view of that. It's about an automation framework that orchestrates across your AI agents, across your automation, whether that's RPA or API or document extraction, and across people to complete those end-to-end mission-critical processes with some degree of autonomy and built-in governance and scalable capabilities so that you can automate important business processes. And what is an AI agent within this? And these are these intelligent capabilities to achieve goals with varying degrees of autonomy. So giving an agent is able to think through a problem against a goal, be able to use capabilities like automation or tools to complete that goal. And you can see here in this order fulfillment example, when you look at an agentic process, it's that combination. The first step here is document extraction, where we're going to really focus on today. So extracting data from an order form. Then you might have an RPA bot that goes and updates your OMS. Then you might have an AI agent, which is going to look at your product catalog, look at your inventory, make sure the products are available, make sure it picks the right product. And that's that dynamic goal-based capability. And then the process continues with other API tasks, with human in the loop capabilities where you might need approvals or inputs. But being able to blend this best of determinism with automation and dynamic capabilities with agents is really what makes agentic process automation. And so we've evolved our platform with this. We've evolved our platform to support this new world of agentic process automation. The foundation of it is still based on our core automation capabilities. Those capabilities around RPA, around API integration, integrations to all your key platforms. Then we have our orchestration engine. And as you saw on the last slide, this orchestration across your entire process and different technologies is critical. Above that, we have our agentic capabilities, our AI Agent Studio, where you can build custom agents, our Automator AI, where you can do things like turn natural language into automation, document automation, which is where we're about to go very deep today to tell you more about that, process discovery, where you can understand your as-is processes, mine what users are doing today, and then turn those into automations. And what all this makes possible are solutions for customers across functions like IT, finance, service, and industries like healthcare and banking and life sciences. Through our automation copilot, which you'll see in the demos, you have an embeddable user interface to these agentic processes that you can put inside of any business application. Salesforce, ServiceNow, Teams, Workday. You can embed these agentic processes anywhere, right at the fingertips of your business users. All right, so with that context, let's deep dive into a part of this agentic process automation platform, which is document automation. So this is our focus today. What document automation makes possible is extracting data from nearly any document type today. With the capabilities we've built, especially around generative AI, you can now process completely unstructured documents like contracts or free text sort of documents like that. You can extract data from documents that sometimes have very complex tables like explanation of benefits or sales orders using generative AI. The possibilities have really expanded in terms of what is possible when it comes to extracting data out of documents. We've also built our platform to be open and extensible. So while we have a lot of capabilities built natively in, we also have native integrations to third-party extraction technologies like Google Doc AI or Microsoft Document Intelligence. So you can extend your document capabilities with the best technologies out there when needed. And critical to what we do is we provide an end-to-end document solution. This isn't just about getting the data out of the document, it's about where that document comes from. Is it from a system of record? Is it from an email? Is it from a user upload? It's about pre-processing that document as necessary, extracting it, and then what happens with that data after you've extracted it? Do you update your ERP system? Do you send an email to a customer? Do you perform some other analysis? All that is possible on our one platform using our automation solutions plus document automation. I put a couple interesting stats on here, which is one, you can see the impact generative AI is having on this space by the fact that over 57% of our pages processed by the product today are using generative AI in some way. So a huge growth in generative AI as a solution for extracting data. Another stat I put here is the growth of this. This is really something that has caught fire within our customer base. Because of what it can solve for businesses, we've seen massive growth in the last year, 360% growth in the number of pages processed. All right, so how does this all work? Well, as I said, this is an entire end-to-end process. So it starts with ingestion of the documents you want to process. Let's say an email comes in with an invoice attached. We have the automation capabilities to monitor that inbox, grab that attachment of that invoice, and start the process. Once we have the document, we can do things like image enhancement, so improving the quality of the document. We can do classification and splitting. So if it's a packet of documents and you need to split out certain pages or certain pieces of the document, we can do that through our AI-based classification. Then we can extract the data using various technologies, which we'll go through today. And if necessary, we can push this dynamically to a validation step for a business user, let's say an SAP, to be alerted that they need to validate certain data on the document if it has low confidence or if it might not have been extracted. And so that dynamic decision around whether to push this to validation or not is critical for customers to build confidence in the document extraction workflow. Once you have the data ready and validated, then you can push this data downstream. What happens next with it? Like I said, does it update your ERP? Does it go to a customer? Does it result in paying an invoice? So all of those downstream steps can be automated as part of this single automation process that you're building. So what makes our solution unique is kind of three things. So first is this embedded unified business user experience. So again, using our Copilot, having this capability to manage document workflows, to validate documents in context in a wide range of business applications is critical. The second is having a single platform with a single developer experience for handling all your different document types. So as I mentioned, we have a huge range of documents we can support natively, but we also give customers the options to bring in or use third-party extraction technologies. All that, though, is managed in the same document automation interface, which you'll see in the demo in just a moment. So you have that single interface. And then lastly, Gen AI-powered extraction. We launched this in the middle of 2023 as generally available. So we've been using Gen AI-powered extraction for almost 2 years now, and we've been able to refine and extend this to a point where we're seeing just really impressive results around what you can extract. And you'll see some examples of that when we get to the demo.
Hey, Peter, I'm going to launch a poll
Yep.
for us real quick to see where everyone is. So Are you using document extraction or IDP in your organization today from Automation Anywhere or anywhere else? Yes, no, no, but planning on getting started soon, and I'm not sure. Gonna leave this up for 10 more seconds, so get your answers in.
While we're doing that, Mudit, do you want to answer the question around support of XML files? Might be on mute, Mudit, or he might have stepped away.
Yes, yes, Peter. So we can take input data from multiple sources, really, including XML. I think it's something that we do handle today as well. So yeah, we are able to ingest data from multiple sources, including XML.
Yeah. Okay, great. Yeah, great feedback on the poll. Looks like a lot of people are planning on getting started soon, which is awesome. You're in the right place.
Yeah.
And then some of you have already got started. So good to see that. All right. So let's jump into a couple examples and then we're going to get to the demo. So I wanted to just kind of give you a sense of what some customers are doing with document automation today. And this is a wealth management firm that is using document automation to handle documents around setting up ACH transfers for customer funds. And this was done very manually in the past. There was errors. It was slow for the customer, so a bad customer experience. And resulted in a lot of their transactions being rejected. They brought in our document automation product to really transform this. And now they're able to automate 93% of the customer ACH setup forms and other documentation that come in without any human involvement. So fully automated capability, 99.9% accuracy in terms of the data extracted. Only 7% of the documents require a user to review it. So this obviously has benefits in terms of the time they're saving, spending a lot less manual time dealing with these forms, but it also results in better customer experiences because they're able to process these quickly and they're able to have less errors that result in bad customer outcomes. One other quick one is a utility company that has used document automation to actually extract data from technical engineering documents. So this is kind of an unusual one. A lot of times we're dealing with financial documents like invoices or sales orders or those things. But just to show you the breadth of what we can do, this company was able to look at technical engineering documents, use generative AI to extract data from some of the information on those documents that was particularly important, and keep their systems updated in a way that was critical to their business without having to do all this work manually, as well as, again, reducing errors. There's a theme here in terms of it's not just about speed and efficiency, it's about better quality too, better quality in terms of the output you're getting. All right, almost to the demo here. I think I'm gonna probably zoom ahead because I want to make sure we have enough time for that. But you'll see this in the demo. We launched some new things in December around vision-based AI extraction. So this is using generative AI vision models combined with other technologies, our ML models, as well as just text-based LLMs. So this gives you new capabilities in terms of the types of complex, more visually kind of laid out documents you need to extract data from. All right, with that, I'm going to hand it off to Mudit so we can get into the demo. Mudit?
Yeah, thanks a lot, Peter. So let me just quickly share my screen. I'll quickly lay the context and then I'll get into the demo as well. Hope my screen's visible. All right. So so the way we'll do the demo is that I'll take you through a process, end-to-end process of a specific customer that is looking to implement loan pre-approval process, right? So this is a scenario. Let's say you have a car dealership and a customer walks into the showroom. They want to purchase a new car. and they obviously would want to, they want to fund it with a loan. So there are certain documents that usually are required for that. And in this particular example, we're using a W-2 statement to really pre-authorize a loan. And once with this document is uploaded, as part of the end-to-end process, the AI agent looks at that document data, the incoming document data. It extracts the data is extracted using document automation, passed on to an AI agent, which in turn makes the decision on initial approval or denial based on the risk assessment and the data available in the document, right? Um, some of the key personas, and we'll just to quickly brief you on that. Like, so this is a situation where you've got two key personas. You've got an automobile sales rep in the showroom, really using this application, and he's the one who's actually so in this case, Vincent's uploading this W2 statement in the Automation Anywhere Copilot, and we'll see how this really works in conjunction within the application that the customer is using. In this particular example, we'll be showing it in conjunction with Salesforce. So they're uploading the document in Automation Anywhere Copilot in conjunction with Salesforce along the side. And once the document's uploaded, the document's extracted, the data is extracted using document automation, passed on and processed by the AI agent subsequently to make the initial approval decision, which then goes to the loan underwriter really for further processing and approval, right? So really we'll go through, at least we'll focus, most of the focus of the demo would be on the part of, the part where we're dealing with the document, but you'll see the end-to-end process in action really as we go through it. So let me go and share my screen on the. All right, I hope my screen's visible. Screen here. All right, so you can see this is a loan application that's been created by the sales rep and in the Salesforce application, and all the details are already available here. And he would like to initiate a pre-approval, right? So this is, as you can see, there are a number of predefined processes that are available here as part of the Automation Copilot. And one of the specific process is auto loan pre-approval. So all he has to do really is just kickstart this process. And what you'll see here is the details of the loan are pre-populated from the Salesforce application right here. And it's available. It has all the information that's already been captured, available for for further processing. And now, of course, in this particular example, the W2 statement is the key document that would be used. The information as part of that document would be used for extraction and for really for the processing, right? So here, Vincent would go ahead and upload this document, and I'll also show you, in further how this extraction really works. But like they say, this is the W2 statement. Again, it has all the information about, the financial statement of for this particular transaction, right? So he's uploading that right here, and he goes ahead and does this, right? So what happens now is really the extraction kicks in. Right now, document automation using a predefined setup of a specific generative AI, what we call as search queries, is really trying to extract specific information that would be used as part of this particular process, right? So let's look at a little bit of detail on what that information really is. So I've got here on this console. So this is, again, I'm going to document automation. This is my W2 form, a learning instance, as we call it, right, which has really all of the different fields and attributes that are being extracted from this document. So you can see here, it's extracting the basic information, of course, the first name, last name. But what's also interesting, I would just like to highlight here is that it is complemented by specific search queries, right? So it's the generative AI, essentially the prompts are really doing the magic here in terms of doing the extraction, right? So I do want to call out here quickly, just for understanding here, a lot of it is powered by generative AI, but a lot of context of where this data comes from is really from the models that we have available on our site. So we tell generative AI what's the context of this, what kind of data we are looking to extract. All of that is already baked into the product. So the responses that we get typically from this these queries are really perfect, right? Now, in some
Yeah,
of the other
I
things that I've done here, right?
sorry
Go ahead.
to interrupt. Just jump in for a second there, Mudit, because this is also maybe helping answer one of the
Yep.
questions that came up on the chat. Um,
Mhm.
so one of the things that we've done here is we've designed this so it's really easy for a user to set up, including what they need to kind of add as the prompt for the generative AI extraction when they're using that. So you don't have to be a prompt engineer. You can ask simple questions. And we're doing a lot of pre-processing and post-processing and optimization behind the scenes to get you accurate results from that simple prompt that a user puts in. And
Yep.
we won't be able to go super deep on all the kind of AI fine-tuning things we've done, as well as like our agentic kind of workflows around this today. But there's a lot behind the scenes beyond just this simple prompt that goes into kind of getting a reliable result.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, and just to add to that, right? We do a bit of this pre-processing. We of course identify some of the elements, like what are the different table elements, for example, what are different paragraphs, what are different bullet points. So a lot of that pre-processing really is done, which essentially provides generative AI a lot of context to give us the most appropriate response, like Peter was saying. So, and exactly that's already baked into the product, and you really don't have to worry about that. But what you may need to do at times is really fine tune the default search queries. In this particular example, the result that I was getting when we were trying this out with just the default search query wasn't including the specific input that was available on the document. So again, that has been customized here, and that can be done on a need basis for your specific document requirements, right? And yeah, that really then flows in and uh, allows you to get the best possible extraction outcome. Now, while we were on the screen, I think our processing should have been done. Yeah, you can see this now. So you can see the document has been extracted, and we can, if you want, you can actually see the details of this. And hopefully you're able to see the pop-up screen here as well. It should come up here where we basically have a complete. All right. Yeah. I think for some my browser's not acting up here, but yeah, I think what you can see here as well. You have the document. You have all the fields that have been extracted. So what the sales rep can really do here is he goes ahead and validates this data and makes sure that everything is in order, what we call as human in the loop. So as much as we would want to trust AI, we would also want a human to at times, be able to look at this data and information. And that's generally a best practice, right? You may want to look at the data, have it validated so that, it's in order before you go to the next step of processing this further. So I've looked at it. I'm okay with this data. It looks like it's perfect. And I go ahead and I further submit this for downstream processing. Um, so what's happening now really is that the AI agent is kicking in and is now taking the details from the from the data that was extracted by document automation and is going to assign a risk score and is going to pre-process and just make an initial decision. And once that decision has been really made, it gets routed to the underwriter for further approval, right? So this is all being done automatically basis of the data that was just extracted. So as you can see, this is an end-to-end process, and while this would really go through, it will finally end up into the approval bucket. I can probably, in the interest of time, just quickly also jump in here. So this is how, this is the last stage where it is essentially going for an underwriter to approve and waiting for their approval for the loan amount, right? So this is an end-to-end process, as I was describing, that is getting kickstarted by the sales rep ending in, going through the extraction using document automation with generative AI, and then followed by the final approval, which really closes the loop on on this entire process. So while I've got this, I think I would also want to talk about now some of the other type of documents. The document that you saw, of course, it's a W2 statement. It's one of the documents that's used in this particular process. But that's not the only type of documents that we can process. There are, a whole bunch of different kinds of documents that we can process, and I just want to take some time and talk about those as well. So let me just share my screen here and just switch over. All right. Yeah. Right. So hopefully my screen's visible. All right. So you can see now, these are various kinds of documents. I've got them processed here, and I just want to talk about. So this is an example of a very, very unstructured kind of a document, right? I mean, we will have contracts, we will have insurance policies, where you're trying to extract specific clauses, right? And again, generative AI really excels at this, and is able to get the specific information extracted. It works really, really well, because of course it's powered by a large language model. Uh, and then the other thing to keep in mind here is, of course, when you're dealing with unstructured data, you may still have tabular information, table information. So as I was saying, we've given the context to the engine that this is, you should expect a table in this particular document, and that leads to a very enriched, way of extraction here, right? So if you see, one of the things in this particular example is there is no specific header, and in a general sense, there is no way to identify that there are specific columns, but still the technology is able to really process this document and identify this as a table information, and is able to extract that, right? So again, like I said, these are some of the incredible leaps that have been made possible based off the progress both on the AI and generative AI side of things, right? Now, the other example that I want to quickly touch upon, this is another example of a sort of a receipt document, right? So this is, if you see, again, the very, very, it looks somewhat complicated in the sense that a lot of information here, if I was to look at and at this information and say, hey, where's the data available here? There is no clear sense of what's a table here, right? But if you see, in a sense, these are different tables. This is, self pickup, and then you've got a certain dotted line here. This is one table. So there is information which can actually be categorized in tabular format. And again, using our models and generative AI here, the system is really able to do that on what would otherwise be a very, very unstructured set of information. And it's able to do this job quite phenomenally well. Actually, it's able to extract it, and it's able to get all the information sorted out in different columns. Again, just quickly, another example, like this is more of a fixed, I think we had Peter talking about this case study of an engineering drawing. So this is an example of an architecture drawing, and again, some metadata associated with that architecture drawing. So again, if you've got such documents, we've got technology that's capable where you can actually specify specific attributes that you want to extract. And again, it would work really well even in that context. So ranging from what would be a fixed, and this is a relatively fixed format document, to something which is somewhat semi-structured, to something which is completely unstructured. We've really got the ground covered in terms of handling all kinds of uh, different documents, right? And the technology is really there for powering all of these use cases. And I do also want to talk about, just briefly, I'll just jump here on the slides quickly, and few examples of what's now possible with our latest innovation, especially with generative AI. I want to just quickly talk about that. Let me just so using Gen AI, some of these other examples that we've also seen benefit from that, right? So especially generative AI with version is now powering a lot of incredible extraction use cases. So, for example, you've got a barcode or a QR code, you have a certain handwriting document. So all of that can really be processed to give you an intelligence at a document level. And some of, again, this is another example of handling complex tables, right? So information which are which is which is embedded within tables, right? Multiple tables within a table. And again, generative AI, especially generative AI with vision capability, which we've now launched recently, again, we see incredible results with that as well, right? These are again some of the neat examples. And one of the things that again I talk about it in some of the forums as well is that even with some of the information we thought was not possible to extract, like you have this graph here, like making sense of information available in a graph and converting it into uh, a usable format like a tabular data is again something that can be made possible using some of the foundational technologies of GenAI and GenAI with vision. So again, these are some of the super exciting use cases. I hope it was useful for you, and I'm happy to answer any follow-up questions that you have on this. Peter, back to you.
Yeah, I'll dive
Thanks,
in
Mudit.
here.
Oh, go
All
ahead,
right.
Lou.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and launch a poll just to see what documents people think would be the most important for their organization to automate processing of. So we have finance documents, supply chain and logistic documents, healthcare documents, HR documents like resumes, offers, and more, legal and compliance, and then forms and IDs, and then other. If you select other, there's a second question, what other document types not listed would be most important for you? Feel free, if you didn't select other, to add to that as well. I'll give everyone about 10 more seconds. It does look like those finance documents are the big one for sure. We're at 51% there. Okay, then healthcare documents. Okay, I'm gonna end the poll. And I'll share the results. Okay, yeah, finance documents, then healthcare documents, then other and supply chain. All right, Peter.
Great. So we have some questions. I don't know, Mudit, if you can see the Q&A.
Yeah, I can. I think there is a question on on-premise control room for document automation. So yes, we do have an on-prem option for document automation, and it really works seamlessly in that setup as well, including the option of using generative AI there. So yeah, I can definitely power many use cases there as well. And I see there is another one. Since GenAI is already doing most of the task, then what is the role of agentic document processing platform? Can we have a clear idea on that? So well, the way to look at it is that Gen AI I mean, essentially agentic AI is when you've got specific tasks, like I was giving in the example that we went through, the assessment of a risk score, that's a very specific task that has been delegated to an AI agent, right? Whereas the way we use generative AI in the foundational technology of document extraction, that's part of the product for, again, it's purpose built. It's there for, for handling all of the extraction needs for within different kinds of documents, right? So agentic AI, again, I mean, to keep it short, really is focused on orchestrating different process steps, right? So there may be, it's sort of a general purpose capability in that sense. And that's the role that Gen AI plays there. And then does the data questions I process through generative AI are secure and remain confidential? Of course, we take security very, very seriously. We've got all of the high trust security credentials on our platform. And the other thing also to call out here is none of the data that our customers should process would be used by any of the models for training. That's our default setup. So we don't allow for anything to be used in context by the models to improve themselves. So there's no sharing of any data with the models for their own specific needs. It's only used for powering the extraction, as you saw in the demo, right?
Yeah, and I think so. There's a couple things going on there. As Mudit said, our standard security data policies mean that no data is retained, no data is used for training. We're not doing that in any way. We also have customers who choose to use their own virtual private cloud environment to run the generative AI models, so you can do that as well. So there's various options in terms of the way you architect or use it, but certainly like security and data privacy are first and foremost critical. I also
Yeah.
saw a question. There's questions coming in from both sides. I saw a question: how is this integrated with Salesforce in the chat? What you saw in Salesforce is a native Salesforce component we have for our automation copilot. That's embedded. It's not specific to document automation. It's for our whole platform. You can access all your automations there, but you can embed this really in any application. We do have a native Lightning component for Salesforce. So what you saw there is the native Lightning component. But you can also, there's a Chrome extension. There's components for Workday and Teams and others. So there's lots of options to embed that.
Yeah. So
And then
I think, yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think there is a question on GenAI supports server logs and traces to raise alerts and recommend corrective actions. So I'm not 100% sure if this is in context of troubleshooting what the GenAI responses are. But if you're trying to do that in context of an extraction use case, we've got enough capabilities for developers to kind of fine tune their search queries, prompts, and really see the results and then decide what's the most optimal configuration. So yeah, definitely there's a bunch of capability that's already there. And whatever calls are made within the platform through the GenAI models, again, we generate enough audit logs in the platform for you and your developers to have a full sense of what's happening there. So yeah, that's there. And then I think the other question is, what are the recommended approaches of training models for handwritten documents? I think, right? So yeah, so I think there are multiple approaches. I think one of the things, some of the screenshots that I showed in the demo were more around signature detection. To be honest, it wasn't really about a handwriting extraction. So handwriting extraction, we have multiple technology options that can be used where we use a fixed form sort of an approach where we can essentially train a model to recognize. And we have partnerships, by the way, both which we leverage. We have a partnership with Google, we have partnership with Microsoft. So there are underlying technologies that we use to really do the extraction of handwriting documents. And I'm happy to share some of the links of that as well. Maybe after the call, I'm happy to send it out. I can share the details around that. And then I see
lots
go
of
ahead,
questions
sorry.
coming in. I can help you as well, Mudit. It's great. We
Go
love
ahead.
the engagement, and it's good
Yeah.
question. They're good questions. In a real scenario, where are documents uploaded for data extraction when cloud automation anywhere control room is used? So the extraction itself is happening on your bot runners. If you're using generative AI models, that's an API call out to do the extraction from the bot runner device. And then when you're doing validation, like you saw the UI where the user is looking at the document side by side with the data extracted, that's stored in the control room for until the extraction is done. And then you can set how long that stays in the control room and when it's removed. So it's temporary. So if you want to just have it stored in the control room until validation is done and then remove it, you can do that. And that's also dependent on, like we talked about, this works with on-prem control rooms as well. So it's not just in our cloud, it could be inside of your on-prem environment.
Yeah.
Next question is, is the Gen AI ready to use in the control room, or do we need to train the LLM? You don't need to train the LLM. And this is really the power of these large pre-trained models, is there's very little training. We didn't show the setup process, but you can really get started without any training steps. We do have a continuous learning loop. So when you do validation, it takes that feedback and improves. But the training is minimal to none in terms of building these extraction pipelines with these very large pre-trained models. And that is one of the biggest, beyond the power of doing more documents, one of the biggest changes in the world of IDP and document extraction is you don't need to do these kind of long, complicated, data-heavy training processes that you had to do even, 3-5 years ago. Before we really started to use these large pre-trained models. So I think we're kind of hitting the end of this here. Hopefully we got most of the questions. We probably missed one or two, and we can follow up on those. Sorry about that if we missed your question. But I think the last thing we wanted to do is just kind of wrap up with next steps. And I don't know if Lou, if you want me to share my screen, I can do that.
Yeah, you can share your screen for the Doc Auto Masterclass. I've actually gone ahead and posted the link in the chat. So sign up today to learn more for this document automation masterclass. And real quick, as you are saving that link to your link sheet, I am going to post a poll that will help us figure out our next steps. So would you like to see a new document automation training camp added to our 2025 event roadmap? We're going to internalize your responses here, and we are getting a lot of yeses. So once we get this sorted, we'll go ahead and start working on that for you guys so that you'll be able to have experience with that training camp. Before then, I would suggest doing this document automation masterclass as well. You can see the list of modules on the screen.
Yeah, and just to be clear, this masterclass is available today on demand. Take it at 6 a.m, 11 o'clock at night. It's available there for you. And this is, as you can see from the modules, there's stuff to just give you an introduction, which you can start there. And then it gets more advanced from there in terms of giving you more details on things like optimizing throughput. You have 10,000 documents a day you need to process. How do you optimize and set up your product to do that? So it's a great program. Would highly recommend it. And then, as Lou said, we'll look at the next one this year.
Yeah, awesome. And then final poll question. Would you like to have a one-on-one conversation to learn how document automation can benefit your organization? If you select yes here, we will pull your contact info and pass it to the powers that be to reach out. Give everyone a few more minutes on that one. And with that, Peter, Mudit, thanks so much for joining today. This has been a wonderful session. For everyone who attended, thank you so much. Your input is highly valuable. As you leave this meeting, you will be prompted to complete another survey. I'd love it if you let me know if you enjoyed this format, having 2 different tracks. Join our APA training camp. It's a real good one. We will get to work planning that document automation training camp for you all. Start planning your Mickey Mouse ears for Imagine. And we will see you later. Oh, if you asked a question and it didn't get answered, feel free to hop in the Pathfinder community, shoot me a private message, and I'll track down one of these guys to get an answer for you. Or shoot me an email at community@automationanywhere.com, and I'll do the same thing. Peter, Moody, I'm sure I will be tracking you guys down for some answers later on. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Have a good day. Enjoy the rest of your week.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.